So hey, how you doing today?
Hey.
And so first of all, I'd like to get a little background on how we know each other. How long have we known each other? Things like that. Go ahead.
All right, Britt, I've been in your life since 2009, or it was spring 2010 or fall 2009. So a good 10 years, a good decade.
Absolutely.
We met at SMC, Santa Monica College, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
Absolutely.
Right?
And so we're friends. I just approached you about like this interview. What's the interview going to be about?
Feet, my mental health, and reflexology.
Okay. And what were your thoughts when you heard what the topics were about? What did you think?
Well, when I heard feet, that's very an unusual topic, so I was surprised. And then mental health, that's a good topic to discuss. It's pretty popular right now. It's important to discuss it actually more in society. And then reflexology, I'd like to know more.
Okay, cool. And that's good because we're going to have this discussion, and I'll give you some background on that, and we'll see if you like it or not. Okay?
Cool.
So let's jump right into the questions.
Okay.
What's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? And I'm using the word weird for a reason. So it doesn't necessarily have to be weird to you, but to others, they may look at it that way.
Regarding my feet?
No. Just in general. Something that you like to do. Hobby, maybe. Something like that.
It'd be a little strange. For myself, I like to research about dreams.
Okay.
And like I guess you could say numbers. Some people think that there's angel numbers. I'm learning about how God speaks through numbers. That's something different. I don't hear about it much. And also, I like to. You want just that one?
Yeah,
Is that enough for you?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one. Has anyone ever made you feel insecure about your body or a body part at all? In the past?
Somebody?
Yes, in general. Like, anybody ever made you feel that way?
Yeah. I guess you could say as a women, comparing yourself to others, like other women, that can allow yourself to feel insecure at times. But I've been practicing some self-love, and it's so important that you love yourself so you can love other people. And I've learned to accept parts of myself that I'm not crazy about more and more.
Absolutely.
So I'd say that.
So you would say that that's something that like you pretty much have control over now. It doesn't really affect you on a day-to-day. Or is it something that's like a constant thing, like you're constantly working on?
I'm constantly working on a couple things because as I'm getting older, I change some things for the better and some things you have to work harder at, like your health and your diet and fitness. But I'm also seeing that I'm getting better. In those areas as well, like just with aging. Sometimes you feel better, look better, you're more confident. I just turned 30, so something changed. When I turned 30, I just became more confident, and I just knew my identity more. Like I was just more comfortable in my own skin, I guess.
Absolutely. If there was one thing you could change about yourself, and it doesn't have to be physical, but just in general, what would it be? I know this is a difficult one. Like, it makes you think because you're like, man, like what are things that like I've heard from people. Some people like they wish they could make like more snap decisions. Like sometimes they can overthink things. Sometimes people tend to, sometimes like pick the wrong friends. Maybe like there's a lot of things. So like it could be anything. It could be something from a mental health aspect. Maybe something you feel like you should work on. What are your thoughts?
Maybe not caring so much about what other people think. After I had my daughter, I've cared less about what people think because you can't care when it's about you and your child and you're bettering your life for them. Otherwise, you'll be caught in a cycle of just never-ending decisions around other people.
Yeah.
And so I wish I focus. Well, I'm in the process right now, I guess, of focusing more on what God wants for my life or myself, like what I want for me, instead of listening to my family or everyone else what they think I should be doing. Absolutely. I wish I grasped that earlier, because it took a while to grasp that. So. Yeah. What is that? Confidence, or I guess what would you call that? I would think that like more confidence in making decisions that like don't, not listening to the outside noise, maybe like things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now let's get into these questions. Let's see how you feel about this. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts? Well, I have unique feet in a way because I have webbed feet, which is like there's skin in between the second and the third toe. Okay. But they're cute feet. Like they're small. They're they're feminine. I do like them. They're just different, Okay. They're not the average feet.
Absolutely. Have you ever received any compliments on your feet?
Yeah, like that they're cute, or like I'll have people be like, "Oh, wow, she has webbed feet," and then they'll like look at it and they'll be like, "Oh, they're cute,"
Absolutely.
So
are we talking male, female?
Males, they react like they're like, "Whoa!" Like I don't ever see that, but they like it. They like they enjoy just like observing them, I guess. Okay. And then women, they're just accepting. They love me for who I am.
So how does it feel when you get a compliment from a man, like in terms of that, like a man like sees you in passing and says, "Hey, you have nice feet." What's the feeling? How do you feel about that?
I just laugh and receive, receive good comments, and as women, I believe we should receive, not give so much. It's giving is masculine energy, and when we want to give and overdo, we tend to have a harder time receiving. So I just receive good comments.
Okay. And if a woman gives you that same compliment, feelings on that?
I say thank you. Yeah. Okay. I'll respond by saying, "Yeah, I know they're webbed feet." Like I'll acknowledge what they are, and we laugh at it. Like we have fun with it.
Okay. So now let me ask you a question: is there a difference between the feeling between a woman and a man giving you that compliment? Do you feel differently, or is it the same?
Well, it depends. Like if it's just a friend or a guy who's interested in me, from like the past, I would say men, they really just accept. It seems like they just accept and appreciate my difference, and then I feel it feels good to be appreciated or liked for who you are,
Absolutely.
by men who are dating you, because when you want someone who likes you for who you are,
Absolutely.
And then women, I don't know, I guess it's just like a friendly, you just hope you can be friends.
And I like dislike other women because you're in competition a lot. So usually when you receive a compliment from a woman, it's received better because it seems more sincere. Whereas sometimes guys give compliments just to receive something in return. So
got it.
Do you agree with that?
With feet?
No, just in general.
Oh,
just
in general.
In compliments in general, yeah.
That's a really good question because, say a random girl gives you a compliment, it does feel nice, but depending on how humble you are, because some women, they're not humble to where they do know that they think that they're better than, and some women dismiss compliments from other women.
Yeah.
They won't really take it to heart, and it also depends on if you lean towards if you're more male dominant or female dominant. So when you're female dominant, you care more about what women say to you. Yeah. If you're male dominant, you care more about what men say to you. Okay. So it just depends on who you are, and humility is big, and receiving. You got to, even with women, some women don't receive from other women. They see it as competition, or just like they're fake, or depends where you're from, but it could go a bunch of different ways, I'd say.
Okay. What are your thoughts on if a significant other, if you were dating someone who's into feet, what would your thoughts be? Like, how would you feel about that? Would it be something that you'd be okay with or not?
If he was into feet?
No.
I just would accept that. And, you know, if they're not into feet, I would think that women would be a little more self-conscious about their feet if they don't like their own feet, you know? Like, so it's nice.
It's something you would be okay with. You're like, fine.
Yeah, sure. Okay. If you like feet, great. Why not?
When do you think?
I hope I get more pedicures, right? He treat me out to pedicures.
Absolutely. I mean, you would think that would be the thought because he wants to see him looking nice.
Yeah,
right?
He wants to see him more
If
often.
you started dating someone, right? When do you think is the appropriate time for them to bring up things that they're into, like
about
just
the
in
woman?
general, like
or
fetishes or things like that? No, like for both of you to discuss that. When is the appropriate time for that to come up? Is it as soon as you start in? Now this is crazy because I've interviewed a couple people and they said I would want to know as soon as we started talking, because that way if I don't like it I can get out. Some people think it's in between, like when you're dating, you're getting to know each other before you become official. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
They don't like in general, like fetishes and things like that.
In general, things you're into and things you're not into. Like, when do you think is the appropriate time for that to be known?
Well, in all honesty, growing up over the years, I've noticed that people are more open about that and quick with saying what they don't like when they're younger. And then as you get older, people tend to announce what they don't like when they experience something. Yeah. Or they're in a moment and they just voice it. It's instead of like push it down or talk about it in the beginning. It's about your journey and like in the moment.
Cool.
Unless you straight up ask them, you have to like straight up ask them.
I mean, some people are just like upfront.
What do you not like about this or that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. Sometimes you need to know certain things, and it is safer to ask ahead of time if you don't want to waste time.
How often do you get pedicures?
I'd like to do them more, but I tend to do them myself because nail polish lasts longer on my feet, and like I clean my. I don't know.
You do your own self-care.
I do my own self-care.
About how often?
But I'd say once every 2-3 months.
Okay.
My sister does them like every 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Depends.
She's out there getting it in.
She's getting them done. Yeah.
How often do you wear open-toe shoes, sandals, flip-flops, things like that?
Often in the summer, and then in my house, I wear them around the house. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. How often do you go barefoot?
Yeah, I don't even think it's a good idea to wear your. I mean, I don't like to wear my flip-flops around in general because I'm always active with my daughter. So like, I think it's safer to have clothes to just better walking shoes and. But it is the beach area here, you know.
Absolutely.
So everybody they're wearing sandals left and right.
So how often do you go barefoot?
I like to walk around barefoot randomly if
you're at home or something.
If I'm at home, but like I've been known to just run out the door without my shoes on. Okay. I feel very natural with the ground.
So you believe in grounding? Do you follow that or anything?
Grounding? I don't know what that is.
It's a part of reflexology. I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay.
All right, and so now can we see what your feet look like up close? Because you talked about these web toes and stuff.
I didn't get my pedicure done.
So we want to get into that, so that we were getting you like right in the moment where it's like.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't get my pedicure on.
Put them up here.
I gotta make sure, Brett.
I did. What we gotta make sure.
I'm like not. Look, I'm not.
It's okay. Put them up here. We're gonna get it. Put them both up here.
Look, I'm completely not pedicure ready.
Okay, and it's fine. So here's the whole point about this, like being impromptu, right? So
I hope you can like change the filters.
No, we're not changing any filters. Listen, here's the whole reason why we do this, right? So it's for me to catch you off guard. You didn't have time to get a pedicure.
And I've been thinking about it, like every day.
So here's what we're doing. this is the mental health aspect. Can you still be comfortable even though I didn't get none of that done, but like I can just sit here in the moment, have the conversation with you, and still go through it? Is that something that you can do?
You know
and you do it. You're doing it right now.
No one's perfect, and
Absolutely.
no one's on top of everything these days. I mean, you know, I'm a mom, and I do my best.
You're very busy. Yeah, you're very busy. So,
but self-care is important. So, as a mom, I do believe self-care, self-love is so important.
You'll find time. I know.
I will.
So now let me see. I want to see these web toes you talked about. Show me. Let's see.
So like right here.
Okay.
There's that skin.
Okay.
See that right there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
okay.
What it is.
Okay, so now let's get into the mental health aspect of why I started this. Okay, so during quarantine, just keep your feet up here. We're gonna go through a couple more exercises. Just keep them up here. So during quarantine, right, I was watching a guy's channel on YouTube, and my channel is like kind of modeled after his, as where I got my idea from. But he was going up and he was approaching a lot of women and talking to them about these same subjects, and a lot of mental health aspects were coming out, right? So have you ever heard of DBT before?
DBT?
Yeah.
Maybe not those like initials.
Yeah. It's called dialectical behavioral therapy. And it's for people who suffer from anxiety, depression, and it's for people who like suffer from like living in the moment. Like they don't
suffer from living in the moment?
Yeah, in terms of like making decisions, like they overthink things, right?
Got it.
So basically what it is like, let's say you have a fear of approaching strangers, right? Like you're scared to like approach people for whatever reason, maybe something happened in your past or whatever. Okay. They tell these people to go out and approach people constantly, like do it over and over again, right? Repetitively. And what they want you to do is to get yourself in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, but when you feel uncomfortable, ask yourself, what's the worst that's going to happen in that situation, right? Okay. So from whatever it is you're doing, what's going to happen from that situation? What's the worst possible outcome, right? And if you can't find anything that's like life-threatening or threatening your safety, that you should proceed with said action because you could experience like good events and pleasurable moments, right? What do you feel about that? Like, are you in agreement with that, or do you disagree?
Interesting you ask. So I believe anxiety comes from focusing on fear of the future, and depression comes from focusing and worrying about the past or dwelling on the past. Yeah. So if you're doing those things, you're going to have anxiety in the present or depression in the present. And you're not going to be able to be in the present. So there is like fear of approaching people, and I definitely believe you should try and get out of your comfort zone, and that sounds like a good plan to, you know, be brave and step out and speak to people around you. Yep. Why not?
And so from this situation right here, like you were talking about, like I don't have a pedicure, and like I know that in your mind you're like, it doesn't, you know, I'd rather be like 100% looking nice, but can you still be comfortable? Because what's the worst that's gonna happen from this situation? You're like, somebody's like, she doesn't have her toes done. How's that gonna hurt you, right?
See, that's where I'm saying, like, the whole, if I could change something better about myself, I feel like I've gotten so far from worrying about what other people think, because who knows how many people might view your channel. Someone watches me who knows me, you know, they'll be like, whoa, Brittany needs her nails done. Damn.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll treat you to it.
You know what?
Hold on, maybe they'll treat you to it once they know that. So there you go.
I look for the better, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm more optimistic. So.
Exactly. Like I said, what's the worst that's gonna happen? That person notices you and says that. It's really like probably hyperbole from that point, but even if it does, I'd be like, hey, okay, go get my toes done. So anyway, let's get into the reflexology portion, okay? You said you don't really know much about that. You haven't really heard of it. Reflexology is the study of the different pressure points we have in our hands and feet. And these pressure points like correlate back to like different parts of our body, right? Yeah. And through massage, acupuncture, things like that, you can alleviate like stress and tension in different areas. They call them zones, right? Yeah. So on your like hands and feet, you have these areas that are called zones, and if you massage or do acupuncture in those areas, right. If you're having problems in other areas, it can alleviate stress and tension. What are your thoughts about that? How do you feel?
I've done acupuncture on my I think it was like on my face, and it helped. It really did. I kind of went really relaxed. Okay. That was during school when I was stressed last year, or I'd say the year before. I know that chiropractic work, depending on the chiropractor, could really help alleviate stress, physical tension. I know a chiropractor named Dr. Stephen Ward. He's in Long Beach. He's a life changer. He says the psychology is connected to the body, and that we all have different physical problems because of how we react to life with stress or how we're female dominant or male dominant. It plays a role.
So in terms of that reflexology, is that something that you would try? You said you've done the acupuncture before.
Done it on my head.
Would you try like the reflexology in terms of like going out and if you had problems, like seeing a specialist for that?
Yeah, I mean, if I had the opportunity to,
Yeah.
I think mental health and like physical health are so important. So, yeah, I believe
that's something that's definitely for you. Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Why
so
not?
now let's get into this portion, okay? Because we reached reflexology. Okay, so now we're going to talk about sensitivity. Okay, how ticklish are you?
I'm ticklish, like near my arm, like underarms, like right here.
Okay.
But everywhere else, I'm okay. Like.
Okay. I'd like to test it out on camera. Is that okay? Can we do that?
Are you gonna try and tickle me?
We're gonna tickle your feet. Yeah, we're gonna see how ticklish you are.
Okay, my feet might be a little bit,
Okay.
depending
let's
on how you
test it
tickle
out.
them. You know.
Let's test it out. Let me get you to put your feet up here, and then we're gonna test it to see exactly just how ticklish she is. Now, what do you think it's gonna be? A scale of 1 to 10. What do you think?
Like a 3.
A 3?
4. I don't know.
Okay. Let me get both of them up here.
Both of them.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and it seems like it's more ticklish than what you said, right? Is it more here in the
You know
arch?
what? Maybe like it's do the other one now.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay, the left foot is definitely more ticklish.
More sensitive. Is it here at the top, arch, bottom?
Bottom and middle.
Bottom and middle?
Yeah,
okay.
like all right
now
here.
hold it right here. I want you to
My
do a
right's
couple
not that
exercises to see if you feel any discomfort or anything, okay?
Okay.
Let me get you to scrunch your toes, like make a fist. Like bend them down. Any discomfort? Do you feel any pain or anything?
My left toes maybe just
Okay.
I haven't been stretching.
Okay. Relax.
I used to be a ballerina, but it's been years.
Okay, now do me a favor and spread your toes and let's see if any pain, discomfort.
No.
Okay. And now wiggle for about 10 seconds and tell me if you feel anything. Anything? No? Discomfort? Nothing?
Discomfort? No.
You shouldn't feel anything, but if you do, then you might have some type of like. Okay, you're good? Okay, you can go ahead and put your feet down now. So, what are your thoughts about that? Like, we went through this. First of all, you said that you would be like a 3. Was it a 3 or was it higher?
No, my left one was a 3. My right was a 2, or like.
2. So it was lower than.
It was
than
lower.
You thought. Okay.
Yeah, my right foot wasn't that bad at all.
Okay, so yeah, you're not very ticklish then, right there.
On my
Okay.
right foot.
Good. Now that could be a sign too, because they say that some people like have like are more sensitive than others, like, and that's depending on like the different like you have nerve endings and things like that. That's why I was telling you about the pressure points. So that's very interesting. So now let's wrap up the interview. Okay. What are your thoughts, friend to friend? First of all, and I want honest. What are your thoughts about, first of all, how I approached you about this to do the interview? What were your thoughts on that?
Like you needed support and wanted my support, and you wanted me involved, so I felt appreciative of that, and I felt open to it, you know, just it's great. It's great what you're doing.
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts about the interview from start to finish? Could you see like how everything went together, or did it not make sense? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't really think of kinesiology, even though it's part of the body, like focusing on the feet, but maybe it's because not a lot of people talk about the feet.
Not a lot of people talk about it because, not a lot of people talk about it. Some people are uncomfortable and weirded out by it, which is why I feel like this would be interesting to do. So,
So interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, the last thing I always ask everybody who does the interview, something from a mental health aspect that you can give back to the channel in terms of words of encouragement, things that you may have learned in life lessons, something that you like to say.
Well, our mental health, I believe that as a child, we learn a lot of our safety, trust, security foundations with our parents and from our parents. So if we had an absent mother or father, that plays a role in how we see the world, or we see trust or security, or we take that with us into our adult life, and we need healing when we have an absent parent, or when there's divorce, or there's chaos or neglect. You know, we're human beings. We were created to have emotions, to feel, to want love. I believe life is all about love, what love means, and love is the most powerful force. So when we lack it over, like, in our life, or we don't love ourselves, we can become our worst critic, and words have power too. So when we speak negative over our life, it holds a power over us. Like, we start to believe it, or we'll when we speak over someone else, you know, people are very sensitive, and words hurt if they're not positive. So I recommend the first action is acknowledging that you might have need for love, or you need self-acceptance, or you need trust. You need to heal your trust issues, or if you've done drugs, to acknowledge that you need help. You know, it's that's the first step, and then the second would be to put yourself around the right people, get rid of the wrong people, because who your friends are is who you'll become. And if you don't have people who support you and encourage you, it's hard to do things on your own. We weren't created to be alone. We weren't created to do everything by ourselves. We need our community, you know.
Absolutely. Well said. So now, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I know it's not the most conventional, and may have felt uncomfortable at some times, but you went through it. I appreciate you for supporting me, and I hope you have a great one. Okay?
Thank you, Brett.